God. Let me remember I am one with God. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Thank you all so much for joining me in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the version printed by Foundation for Inner Peace. You're here on Lesson 124, Friday, May the 3rd of 2024. Let me remember I am one with God, and I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks. Let me remember I am one with God. Today we will again give thanks for our identity in God. Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to us in all our undertakings. We can fail in nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. At one with God and with the universe we go our way rejoicing, with the thought that God Himself goes everywhere with us. How holy are our minds! And everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind, at one with God and with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God is our companion as we walk the world a little while. And those who come to follow us will recognize the way, because the light we carry stays behind, yet still remains with us as we walk on. What we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after, and to those who went before, who stayed with us a while. Again, what we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after, and to those who went before or stayed with us a while. And God, who loves us with the equal love in which we were created, smiles on us and offers us the happiness we gave. Today we will not doubt His love for us, nor question His protection and His care. No meaningless anxiety can come between our faith and our awareness of His presence. We are one with Him today in recognition and remembrance. We feel Him in our hearts. Our minds contain His thoughts. Our eyes behold His loveliness in all we look upon. Today we see only the loving and lovable. Today we see only the loving and the lovable. We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace. We see it in the frantic, in the sad and the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to tranquility and peace of mind in which they were created. And we see it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to life. All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves. No miracle can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with God. No thought of theirs but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone, in times gone by and times as yet to come, as easily as in the ones who walk beside them now. Their thoughts are timeless, and apart from distance as apart from time. We join in this awareness as we say that we are one with God, for in these words we say as well that we are saved and healed, that we can save and heal accordingly. We have accepted, and we now would give, for we would keep the gifts our Father gave. Today we would experience ourselves as one with Him, so that the world may share our recognition of reality. In our experience, the world is freed. As we deny our separation from our Father, it is healed along with us. Peace be to you today. Secure your peace by practicing awareness you are one with your Creator and He with you. Sometime today, whenever it seems best, devote a half an hour to the thought that you are one with God. So we're going to devote a half an hour sometime today to the thought that we are one with God. And I'd encourage you to do it when you first get up in the morning, if you have time. If not, right before you go to bed is another great time. But maybe throughout the day, maybe you have a half hour you can just tuck away and devote to recognizing that you are one with God. This is our first attempt at an extended period for which we give no rules nor special words to guide your meditation. We will trust God's voice to speak as He sees fit today, certain He will not fail. Abide with Him this half an hour, He will do the rest. Your benefit will not be less if you believe that nothing happens. You may not be ready to accept the gain today, yet sometime, somewhere it will come to you, nor will you fail to recognize it when it dawns with certainty upon your mind. This half an hour will be framed in gold, with every minute like a diamond set around the mirror that this exercise will offer you, and you will see Christ's face upon it in reflection of your own. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will see your own transfiguration in the glass this holy half an hour will hold out to you to look upon yourself. When you are ready, you will find it there within your mind and waiting to be found. You will remember then the thought to which you gave this half an hour, thankfully aware no time was ever better spent. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will look into this glass and understand the sinless light you see belongs to you. The loveliness you look on is your own. Count this half an hour as your gift to God, in certainty that His return will be a sense of love you cannot understand, a joy too deep for you to comprehend, a sight too holy for the body's eyes to see. And yet you can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will understand and comprehend and see. Add further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered you today by hourly repeating to yourself, let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. And of course, that's what we sang this morning today. And we'll do that again here in just a few minutes after when we close. And you can use that to lead you right into your meditation, perhaps. We're ready for in our text reading, chapter 14, Teaching for Truth, Roman numeral 4, your function in the atonement. And while you're turning there, what's going on around the world today, according to holidays and observances, it's Garden Meditation Day. So I'm sitting out here, a little bit of red romaine, and here's some green romaine, here's some what is that? I forget what they call that lettuce there. And then, I can't even, Lactuca sativas. Anyway, just all your lettuces. It's the perfect time of year for it. Garden Meditation Day, International Space Day, Kentucky Oaks, National Chocolate Custard Day, National Public Radio Day, National Raspberry Popover Day, National SAN Architect Day, National Especially Abled Pets Day, National Textile Day, National Two Different Colored Shoe Day, No Pants Day, Orthodox Good Friday. For all you Greek Orthodox, today's Good Friday. Eirini is the word for peace in Greek. So Eirini be with you. or is it Erie? Eirini. And I may not be pronouncing it properly. If you Greek students, send me a text, let me know the proper pronunciation for Eirini. Paranormal Day, School Lunch Hero Day, Paranormal Day. See what's always there, but that you didn't believe it was there, so you didn't see it. Well, now we're starting to see that all life is, everyone lives in the resurrection. Life is all there is. Death gives way to life, we just learned. School Lunch Hero Day, Wordsmith Day for you people that like to write, World Press Freedom Day. And then in edible landscaping, we have the pristine apple, the Malus domestica. And it says of the pristine, even earlier than William's pride, pristine has good disease resistance from cedar apple rust and apple scab, but can get spur blight in wet springs. The bright yellow fruit dependably ripens here yearly. Excellent for fresh eating for such an early apple, a good keeper for an early apple. Texture is not hard like a winter apple, but crisp and zesty. A good substitute for Lodi apple, being good for applesauce like Lodi, but much better quality for eating out of hand. Space 10-foot circles for dwarf trees and 15-foot circles for semi-dwarf. Space 25-foot circles for standard trees. Zones 5 through 7. So the pristine apple. And then Permaculture for Beginners by Carrie Mitchell. We're still in Chapter 8, Creating a Composting System. And factors to consider. The first factor is the use of bins, like a tumbling bin or just any kind of bin that holds your compost. Usually has a way to turn it. Pros to bins is that animals cannot access, as well as the rain does not saturate your compost. So it's good year-round in that sense. Disadvantages of bins is that since air does not circulate so well, it takes considerably longer to compost. So give yourself 6 months or more if you're using a bin composting system, she says. Okay, now let's go look at our text reading. Your function in the atonement. And let's keep with this throughout the day, every hour of the day. Tell yourself, let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Your function in the atonement. When you accept a brother's guiltlessness, you will see the atonement in him. For by proclaiming it in him, you make it yours, and you will see what you sought. You will not see the symbol of your brother's guiltlessness shining within him while you still believe it is not there. His guiltlessness is your atonement. Grant it to him, and you will see the truth of what you have acknowledged. Yet truth is offered first to be received, even as God gave it first to his Son. The first in time means nothing, but the first in eternity is God the Father, who is both first and one. Beyond the first there is no other, for there is no order, no second or third, and nothing but the first. 2. You who belong to the first cause, created by him like unto himself, and part of him, are more than merely guiltless. The state of guiltlessness is only the condition in which what is not there has been removed from the disordered mind that thought it was there. This state and only this must you attain, with God beside you. For until you do, you will still think that you are separate from him. You can perhaps feel his presence next to you, but cannot know that you are one with him. This cannot be taught. Learning applies only to the condition in which it happens of itself. 3. When you have let all that obscure the truth in your most holy mind be undone for you, and therefore stand in grace before your Father, he will give himself to you as he has always done. Giving himself is all he knows, and so it is all knowledge. For what he knows not cannot be, and therefore cannot be given. Ask not to be forgiven, for this has already been accomplished. Ask rather to learn how to forgive and to restore what always was to your unforgiving mind. Atonement becomes real and visible to those who use it. On earth, this is your only function, and you must learn that it is all you want to learn. You will feel guilty till you learn this, for in the end, whatever form it takes, your guilt arises from your failure to fulfill your function in God's mind with all of yours. Can you escape this guilt by failing to fulfill your function here? 4. You need not understand creation to do what must be done before that knowledge would be meaningful to you. God breaks no barriers, neither did He make them. When you release them, they are gone. God will not fail, nor ever has in anything. Decide that God is right and you are wrong about yourself. He created you out of Himself, but still within Him. He knows what you are. Remember that there is no second to Him. There cannot therefore be anyone without His holiness, nor anyone unworthy of His perfect love. Fail not in your function of loving in a loveless place, made out of darkness and deceit, for thus are darkness and deceit undone. Wow, let's look at that sentence again. Fail not in your function of loving in a loveless place, made out of darkness and deceit, for thus are darkness and deceit undone. By loving, darkness and deceit are undone. Fail not yourself, but instead offer to God and you His blameless Son. For this small gift of appreciation for His love, God will Himself exchange your gift for His. 5. Before you make any decision for yourself, remember that you have decided against your function in heaven, and then consider carefully whether you want to make decisions here. Your function here is only to decide against deciding what you want. Your function here is only to decide against deciding what you want, in recognition that you do not know. Well, how can we do that? That we don't know, so we ask the Holy Spirit? Again on that sentence, your function here is only to decide against deciding what you want, in recognition that you do not know. How then can you decide what you should do? Leave all decisions to the one who speaks for God, and for your function as He knows it. So will He teach you to remove the awful burden you have laid upon yourself by loving not the Son of God, and trying to teach Him guilt instead of love. Give up this frantic and insane attempt that cheats you of the joy of living with your God and Father, and of waking gladly to His love and holiness that join together as the truth in you, making you one with Him. Wow, a lot in that sentence. Paragraph 6. When you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easily and as right as breathing. When you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. There is no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you were being carried down a quiet path in summer. Only your own volition seems to make deciding hard, your own will, or your own, the power of choosing or determining. Found that in Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So your will, basically, be referring to the divided will, the ego will, maybe. Only your own volition seems to make deciding hard. The Holy Spirit will not delay in answering your every question what to do. He knows, and He will tell you and then do it for you. You who are tired will find this is more restful than sleep, for you can bring your guilt into sleeping, but not into this. 7. Unless you are guiltless, you cannot know God, whose will is that you know Him. Therefore, you must be guiltless. Yet if you do not accept the necessary condition for knowing Him, You have denied him and do not recognize him, though he is all around you. He cannot be known without his Son, whose guiltlessness is the condition for knowing him. Accepting his Son as guilty is denial of the Father so complete that knowledge is swept away from recognition in the very mind where God himself has placed it. If you would but listen and learn how impossible this is, do not endow him with attributes you understand. You made him not, and anything you understand is not of him. 8. Your task is not to make reality. It is here without your making, but not without you. You who have tried to throw yourself away and valued God so little, hear me speak for him and for yourself. You cannot understand how much your Father loves you, for there is no parallel in your experience of the world to help you understand it. There is nothing on earth with which it can compare, and nothing you have ever felt apart from him resembles it ever so faintly. You cannot even give a blessing in perfect gentleness. Would you know of one who gives forever and who knows of nothing except giving? Paragraph 9. The children of heaven live in the light of the blessing of their Father because they know that they are sinless. The atonement was established as the means of restoring guiltlessness to the minds that have denied it and thus denied heaven to themselves. Atonement teaches you the true condition of the Son of God. It does not teach you what you are and what your Father is. The Holy Spirit, who remembers this for you, merely teaches you how to remove the blocks that stand between you and what you know. His memory is yours. If you remember what you have made, you are remembering nothing. Remembrance of reality is in him and therefore in you. And the last paragraph to finish this section, 10. The guiltless and the guilty are totally incapable of understanding one another. Each perceives the other as like himself, making both unable to communicate because each sees the other unlike the way he sees himself. God can communicate only to the Holy Spirit in your mind because only he shares the knowledge of what you are with God. And only the Holy Spirit can answer God for you, for only he knows what God is. Everything else that you have placed within your mind cannot exist, for what is not in communication with the mind of God has never been. Communication with God is life. Nothing without it is at all. Wow. So be sure to do your 30-minute long meditation today. No rules, but you might say as you go into the practice, this what I'm going to sing here. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. And if your mind needs something to do, well, just think about those ideas. But try to get to the place where you just stop all thinking and just be at peace. I am one with God. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Let me remember I am one with God. Let me remember I am one with God, and one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness, holiness and peace. Let me remember I am one with God. one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness, holiness and peace. Let me remember I am one with God, and one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Let me remember I am one with God. Let me remember I am one with God. Thank you for being out here on Garden Meditation Day in my garden. Maybe a nice place for me to sit for 30 minutes right now. Until tomorrow, tell yourself often today, every hour, try to remind yourself, let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace. Henry.